Since this course is all about building a premium brand, I think it's worth that we just take a moment to look at and think about, what are premium brands doing differently? What are luxury brands doing that other brands aren't, Because I think there's a few things we can learn from that before we start going and working on your brand and how we can elevate your brand to a premium positioning. So I'm going to walk through 7 different principles, you can call them, that for sure I think after we've gone through them you will see that how you can recognize that from the world of premium brands. And I think there's a lot of things you can learn in here as we start working on your brand. So let's start with point number 1, which is they do brand strategy really well. So what we just went over in the previous lesson certainly holds for like premium brands and luxury brands. I mean, they obsess about their brand strategy. They're crystal clear on, all these different different parts that we went through in terms of what's their purpose and, their positioning and all that. And also in terms of how they execute their brand identity is very consistent. All these like general branding rules that we just went through are critically important to build a premium brand, and that is something that they just do very well. So that's the point number 1. Point number 2, so typically their existence is a consequence of the past, okay? A premium brand is never launched. If you're opening a luxury or premium salon or spa location, most likely that's not, just because there was a money opportunity that we just opened that salon, right? There's typically a story behind why that salon exists in the first place. Here's just a screenshot from, The Parlor, which is a premium salon chain of hair salons. And typically you will find something like this on premium brands websites that is really talking about kind of the story of different events and what has happened. Maybe the founder went through some struggle and then overcame that, found some solution, and that's why they just had to open this salon to start serving people, and then it became so popular, so they opened, more locations, and that there's a story like that behind the brand. So the principle for premium brands is really that they are never really launched. They just exist because of a consequence of the past. Okay, I think that's an important aspect of thinking about that as you open your location, to make sure that you are clear on that story and the why behind your business, because that is something that kind of flows into creating that premium and luxury perception, is that you're not just launched because of a money opportunity, but you exist for a reason and there's a story attached to that. So point number 3 is that premium brands, they stand for something. They have beliefs. So here's an example, just a screenshot of the Gem Salon Spa, and you'll find things like on the homepage here, the Gem Way, where they talk about, no two gems are alike. We believe that everyone has their own definition of beauty, happiness, and so on, and we'll work to create your personalized look and regimen that fits with your lifestyle. They have beliefs, and they do stand for something. Like if you go into this example on the About page, you'll find statements like what we believe, explaining that. You'll find things like maybe in this case, our commitment to sustainability, what are we doing, our story, a quote from the founder. You see that there's a richness in there that is really talking about what they stand for, They're not trying to necessarily then be, everything to everyone kind of thing, but more like taking a stand and being bold and communicating that stand. That's typically something that you would see when you look into premium and luxury brands. And point number 4 is that they're honest. So they don't try too hard, It's not about like being salesy and trying to like push clients to come into you, but they really attract people, rather than, shouting with aggressive messages and so on. Like the really extreme examples, if you look to luxury branding, they really put, the brand on a pedestal and kind of distant from the consumer or from the clients. And that's how they create that kind of mystique and so on around the brand. That's very common. You see that on luxury branding. That's not necessarily how you need to play it as a premium brand, because it needs to fit into your values and how you want your brand to be portrayed. But it's really about like honesty, being transparent, being clear on like the previous ones, like what do we stand for, and not again trying too hard, and trying to being salesy and that, but really like focusing in on attracting rather than shouting. And that's also why funny enough, this membership program is called the Attract Marketing Program, right? Because that's what we want to do in this course on branding here, is to create that level of attractiveness so that you get people coming to you versus like chasing after them, because that can have a negative impact on the premium perception of your brand. I think it's worth still, when we're talking about these points, because there is an element of like pragmatism here, and there will always be a balance, especially when it comes to like how salesy you will be versus like just putting your brand on a pedestal kind of thing. There needs to be an element of pragmatism, because if you're not getting clients, you need to find ways to go out and get exposed and so on. So this is not really what we're saying here. You need to find your way here of like being perceived as not like trying too hard, being kind of more honest and building your brand in that way, versus kind of being out looking salesy and kind of desperate, right? That's the point here. If we go to point number 5, so premium brands and luxury brands are timeless. They don't design the brands based on the fashion or the trend that is like right now, but they're really built for the long run. You can take the extreme examples. If you look at luxury brands, like you can take Rolex, which is the well-known luxury watch brand, right? I know, like, when they make their decision on where they should take the company, they always have that element of, how will this decision that we're making now affect us in 100 years? That's kind of how they're embracing that into their brand, and kind of into, their innovation and how they're moving forward. They're really taking that very long-term horizon to make sure that the brand remains timeless and not just falls into a trend right now. So I think on this one also, especially if you're in beauty and there's always the element of trends, and I think good inspiration to look at here is fashion brands and luxury fashion brands like Chanel or Hermès or Yves Saint Laurent, or you name it, like all these like really high end fashion brands. They're doing this really well in terms of how they can maintain a timeless brand that really like lasts the test of time while being kind of relevant in the now with trends, with their collections, right? So that's kind of a good source of inspiration, because it's not about not being able to act to trends, right? That's something we need to do if we run a beauty type business, but like how can the principles of the brands still kind of maintain a sense of timelessness in how we kind of think about our brand. And then if we move to point number 6. So premium and luxury brand, they offer an experience, and they're not just a solution, right? Because when you just become a solution, you become a commodity. And this is how commodity brands market themselves, right? If you were to sell detergent, no one really cares about the experience. They just want something that cleans their clothes, right? And you will see, like, if you look at TV commercials for detergents, there's likely like a picture of a white shirt with a stain on, then it got washed and now it's white again kind of thing, because they're very like solution oriented, and that's what people want from that type of brand. But if you run a service based business, and then you have the room to create that experience and to be more than just a solution to a problem. And that is a very important part here of this course, to like help you elevate the position of your brand, to also be able to position yourself and to offer more than just that solution, but to really offer an experience. Because when you do that, that's when you will be able to charge more for what you offer, because you're more than just a solution to their problem, right? You're offering something that is bigger. You're offering an experience. Okay, and finally, point number 7, what they offer is tailored. So this is something that is more of a struggle, I would say. I mean, I've worked on many different brands, premium and luxury brands, right? When you're having a product, for example, to be tailored in terms of what you offer and being like bespoke, and to serve, consumers in a way that is personalized. For a salon, this is kind of built in to the DNA of what you do, right? It's about the consultation. You do offer a personalized service. So compared to many other types of brands than a service-based business like yours, you already have an edge here. And this is also why, by nature and definition, what you're offering is a premium offer. If you compare to kind of other categories of products and services, what you offer is already premium. You do offer something that is tailored. And brands that are premium and luxury even before their customer does, so before their clients know what they need, they know what they need, right? So that's where we can challenge ourselves as kind of service providers as well, to being that type of thought leader and to be able to deliver personalized solutions and services to our clients, you know, and be ahead of them and, you know what they want, you know, before they even know themselves. The screenshot from Fringe, New York, and their salon, which is all about kind of that message around how, you know, your hair reflects your story and spirit, and it's about that personalized result. And I think that, you know, fits very naturally into what we do in the salon. So those were 7 different things that premium brands are doing differently. I hope that kind of, as we went through them as well, that you recognize, you know, from looking at other brands. And I hope, like, after we go through this course and you learn so much more about what branding is and also what premium branding is, that, you know, you can look at other brands and look at these, you know, fashion houses and luxury brands, because there's a lot you can learn from just looking from these type of brands, and to see what of that can you bring back also to your salon, to your spa, to your barbershop, or you know, whatever type of service business that you're running, because these are, you know, factors that help you to kind of elevate that positioning, to create that premium perception of the brand, which is what we want to do in this course. So I hope you found that helpful. Now, before we start working and we go into actually looking at more closer to your brand and start crafting your brand strategy.